Hello everyone and welcome to the next best of 3 in the Intel Extreme Masters Season 2. It is the first match in Group C. It's an undead versus human and it is between two of the underdogs, I would assume, in this group. It is DowaQ, the Swedish undead, a pretty much up-and-comer at the time this tournament was played. He's starting here in purple in the top right spawn position, and he's going for altar, ziggurat and crypt first, most likely ghoul build by him and his opponent from Germany. It is Fire DE, the 4th ranked player of the previous season, and I'm calling him one of the underdogs because at this time he was already not as motivated anymore, didn't practice as much anymore, and therefore it is unlikely that he's going to be able to repeat his result from the previous season. But who knows, we'll see what's going to happen with him. He's starting with the regular opening, going for AM first against the Death Knight. Crypt about to finish, shop coming. I'm assuming a second ziggurat will be added soon by DowaQ, who went for a pretty early scout with a ghoul here, though he doesn't... okay, never mind. It's already building. I was about to say he doesn't even have the lumber to build any more buildings, and he's not going to get any lumber soon because he doesn't have a ghoul here, but never mind, he's already building that second ziggurat. So first footman out, second footman out soon, tower coming for fire. Everything is looking perfectly fine. DowaQ scouted top left, bottom right, and now he's going to find fire in the bottom left. And he sees that the AM just spawned, base should be open here. And he's not going for the tiny green camp, he's going for the big orange one immediately. And yeah, the ghoul block here by DowaQ is delaying fire by quite a bit, and fire actually delayed himself by quite a bit by having his AM spawn in the back of his base. So let's see if DowaQ is still going to be able to punish fire here in any way for taking the slightly bigger creep camp and not the small green one right in front of his base. I mean, militia duration is already about to run out soon. The Death Knight is there, but he's getting this around immediately, and that is bad news for DowaQ, to say the least. He can maybe coil down the water mantle, and he's even town portaling out right now. Allowed fire to do a lot of damage to his DK. I mean, he may have waited for the water mantle to take some more damage, but that was pretty huge setback. Now he's gotten rid of his town portal, and he's gonna have to be very, very careful when trying to apply pressure to fire since he's so low. I feel like he maybe should at least be creeping up to level 2 on his own before he continues going across the map, because with this super low DK, by the way, saw the tier 2 tech starting for DowaQ, with this super low DK it's going to be hard for him to do anything to prevent fire from whatever his plans are. Coil going on the next water mantle. This one actually isn't going to DowaQ though, and he's taking so much damage here that ghoul might even be... No, he's not falling thanks to another coil by the DK here through the forest, but fire is getting the entire creep camp here for free. He's still in tier 1, getting the lumber mill. He's got a decent number of peasants. Gonna add some more eventually, even adding some more currently. And the DK didn't really achieve anything here. Looks like, he's just using his ghouls on their own to do some more creeping. And now pulling the militia, fire is, and this is quite questionable. Does he want to creep this with only his militia? This seems quite crazy. A water metal has been sent back, and fire did get surrounded here, but using the Cloak of Shadows. Sorry for missing that one. Pretty close call there. Unfortunately for DowaQ, there is no dust on the Death Knight, but he's getting one, and fire is going to have to be quick with his town portal uses. He sees the DK coming and using the TP immediately, and actually he did get rid of the majority of this creep camp already. One human corpse lying here on the ground. DowaQ now heading across the map with his DK and his ghouls. Fire, having taken tons of damage on his AM, is really gonna have to be careful. And his damage output is not quite enough to finish his creep camp here. It was definitely a questionable decision in my opinion. I mean, he's gonna be able to finish it right now with a water mantle and a couple of footmen. And perhaps even find a big heal potion, which would be amazing for him right now. And yeah, he can bring new peasants here. Doesn't even want to waste the time and put them into a militia shape. But still, yeah, strange opening here by Fire. And let's see what's dropping here. Wow, yeah, greater heal potion, perfect for him. No chance for DowaQ to make use of the AM being that low. One of the footmen gets coiled down. AM needs to be careful not to get surrounded again. But I guess the main priority for DowaQ right now is delaying the expansion and killing as many peasants as he can here. AM has to stay away, but the two watermen are already posing a huge threat to these super low HP ghouls. Another one gets picked off by Fire. And let's see, another two peasants are probably going to fall, which makes a total of, I think, 4. Death Knight already slowly closing in on level 3 here. Black Citadel started already. AM is coming in from the bottom again. Actually, this ghoul could be sniped out, but then again, there are more ghouls harassing up here and even more skeletons for DowaQ, and he's gonna get so many peasants killed here. Fire is gonna have to bring new ones out of his main base, and he's immediately doing so. But yeah, his expansion is going to be so late, and a potential destroyer push soon could hurt him extremely badly. AM is probably going to be forced to use the potion now, which is what he's doing. DK 5 XP away from level 3. If he gets one more peasant, that's gonna be it. But he lost all of his steam for the moment. And looking at his resources, okay, this is pretty bad. He's not even going for the destroyer push. He brought all of his ghouls here to be aggressive, and he doesn't have the lumber to follow this aggression up with double slaughterhouse. He doesn't even have the lumber for one slaughterhouse. I mean, he's gonna get it soon. Yeah, now. But yeah, maybe keeping one ghoul more at home would have been the better call. But you know, in hindsight, that's easy to tell. Fire's expansion is now up and running. First couple of towers coming. Fire. How much of the main base did he actually just see? Not much. He not even didn't even see the main here. So he's not aware that he actually might have more time than he thinks he does. Two skeletons quickly sniped out. Lich second is out, which is going to make things a little bit easier for DowaQ. As we can see, he can easily start sniping stuff with the first bunch of fiends, with the Lich, with the Nova, with the Orb, which is going to be able to add soon. He's got mana for Coil, but doesn't want to use it here. Doesn't want to spend his mana if he's not forced to do so. Fire, on the other hand. Where's his army? Ah, in the middle. Okay, didn't even reach his expansion yet. Yeah, Fire starting to get the first bunch of towers. Water Elemental running into the creeps here. And what is the plan for DowaQ? Yeah, it's just adding more fiends, adding first statue. And yeah, he might just be going for what we've seen Elqua do previously against Hooligan, which is this transition into fiends, statues, etc. and a somewhat quick counter expansion. And as long as he's got the hero levels to back it up, to make it difficult for Fire to just, you know, swoop in and cancel it all the time, can still work out. We'll find out. Of course, this is despite Fire's pretty unique attempt at creeping this one. This is still a far more standard game than Elqua against Hooligan was. In that game, the expansion was not even up yet. Not even sure if it was crapped yet. And here we have an expansion safely running. But for the moment, it is DowaQ who is applying the pressure here, not going for a counter expansion yet. Waiting at the tavern for a third hero. Doesn't have the gold at the moment though. Producing another statue at the moment, nothing else. So it's gonna save up until 425 gold. Actually, yeah, losing a ghoul here, okay. Just giving that one to Fire for free, for whatever reason. I mean, if he decides to go for a counter expansion eventually, he's gonna need all the lumber he can get. But then again, it looks like for the moment he's just going to apply more and more pressure. And yeah, he's able to pick off a few units of Fire. This orb hurts the human player a lot, even though he's got defense on his footman. Just the Lich And the DK, who should maybe pass those mantles to the Lich for more damage output, are already doing plenty of damage to the Footman. Another bunch of towers gets cancelled. Repair rate back in 1.21 on those scout towers. Pretty impressive, as you can see. Even though he's got 3 fiends here and the Lich, there wasn't any way to get this one cancelled with the repair being there in time. Dark Rain the third now bought for DowaQ, and he's going to continue applying pressure here. In the meantime, Fire has already reached tier 2 though. Bunch of towers coming here. MK second coming, no tier 2 buildings whatsoever. Yet he's just building a huge load of towers. Maybe even exaggerating a bit here with his tower production, because he's not going to face destroyers. He's not going to face anything that hard counters towers, if you will. I mean, it's not really a hard counter, but they are extremely good against a low number of towers. That's what I'm trying to get at here. I am trying to be some more aggressive. DK has only mana for 1 more coil, so he's probably not going to want to spend it on some nuke that's probably not going to work out anyway. So he's going for the safe kill on the Footman, continues creeping a bit. Big mana potions, not going to say no to that. And what is Fire doing here? I think just scouting for the moment. There shouldn't really be too much that he can achieve here. Another Ziggurat coming. And DowaQ is on his way to extend his level advantage here. AM is of course level 3 still, about the same XP as the DK, but the Lich is level 2.5 already. Dark Ranger has started leveling, and we're gonna see DowaQ continuing to creep, but so will Fire as soon as he's getting the time here, which is now. By the way, first Masonry upgrade has finished already, second one is being produced. Shade is already in the base. Tier 3 for Fire, Blacksmith coming, and we'll see if he's gonna go for the expected Knights flying machines here. Or maybe tanks again, if DowaQ decides to go for a counter expansion. Because there's only 2 options for DowaQ currently, who's adding the Boneyard right now. There's only 2 options for DowaQ at the moment. Either try to break this at all costs, or go for a counter expansion. He's not going to be able to stay on one base forever against Fire's expansion. But for the moment it looks like the plan is to get aggressive. First tower falling, second tower falling, bunch of peasants falling. Fire in the meantime did some creeping and reskilled to Blizzard. Now it should be fine again. Another Blizzard coming in. Not sure what he did find at the Goblin Merchant, the Boots of Speed, I'm assuming. I don't think he had those previously, so must have found them there. DowaQ just continues applying pressure here, but the Blizzard is really hurting him, and it's really tricky to micro around that with his fiends. For the moment he's just sitting inside the Blizzard and doesn't react to it. AM going pretty far up front here. The low HP fiends being put back right now. And Fire, this is so ballsy by him. He's just, well, making use of the fact that he cannot really make great use of those units here at defending his own base anyway, so he just decides to make the best out of it and creep. DowaQ losing one of his fiends here to the Blizzard of Fire. AM slowly closing in on level 4, and now DowaQ is going for the counter expansion as well, so it doesn't look like he's going to be able to break this. Nova coming in on one of the peasants and one of the towers. Another one of the towers is falling. The MK in the meantime is already going to reach level 3. Robe of the Magi for him. Nice item. And yeah, Fire is really making great use of that MK and the bunch of defend footmen he's got there. And is he even going to go for the ivory towers here? At least not for the moment. Another bunch of towers is coming in. DowaQ is really not achieving too much here. I mean, he's killing a bunch of peasants, he's killing a bunch of towers, but I think Fire is getting the better out of this trade, because DowaQ is not really, you know, rushing away in terms of XP here. He's not really doing any significant damage, and in the meantime, Fire is getting double workshop, getting the animal war training currently, so that's gonna help out his knights. Getting defense upgrade for tanks, knights. And the AM now finds the expansion, and yeah, we're gonna see some Blizzard here. So far there aren't any Acolytes inside there, so it doesn't do all too much. DowaQ is just, yeah, getting those easy kills, but I don't see those being game deciding or anything even close to that. And now even adding the first Frostworm here, DowaQ is. Continues being aggressive. Currently Fire sitting at 50, DowaQ has already broken, and he's gonna start mining from his expansion right now, equalizing in terms of economy, and there the tanks are coming for Fire. He's adding a Griffin Aviary as well, so I'm assuming he's gonna want to add a few Hawks here eventually to deal with the Frostworm. One of them isn't gonna do it because Silence of the Dark Ranger can always stop the Shackle from affecting the Frostworm. DowaQ continues to creep, picks up, what is he picking up? He sells one of the mantles and picks up the town portal, going for the first of the red camps in the corner. Fire, on the other hand, is getting the second spawn position already, continues creeping with his Paladin and Mountain King. The AM in the meantime, what is he doing? Yeah, he continues harassing. Just being as annoying as he possibly can. DowaQ, on the other hand, getting some more XP. Pipe of inside, best item probably that he could have found there. For the moment, mining is denied, and the first two tanks, as we can see, are already rolling through the middle. It's 1-1 upgrades on those already. And what is DowaQ doing with the rest of his army? He's getting another expansion down here in the corner, as it appears. Wondering if Fire is eventually going to go there with his entire army to creep it. Then again, he's probably going to know that it's been crept already, since he's going to see the pipe on the DK. Another Blizzard is coming in. Coil on one of the Acolytes. He really wants to keep this gold mine alive at all costs, but he's not successful in doing so. I think Fire just killed his own tank here with the Blizzard. AM might be forced to use the town portal or the Invo Potion. He decides to go for the Invo Potion. Wants to stay around and continue harassing, apparently. Let's see when the expansion is going to be rebuilt. Yeah, I think Fire just anticipated that, but didn't get the kill here. First Meatwagon is out, and yeah, DowaQ starts preparing for more tanks that are to come. Actually, this is just a Scout Acolyte, at least for the time being. Expansion is being rebuilt. And the Mountain King and the Paladin. Paladin soon to be level 3 already. He found the Vampiric Aura, which is going to come in handy if Fire ever decides to go for Knights. And he was forced to use the Town Portal here anyway. And with that Invo Potion, he didn't really achieve all too much, so yeah, maybe he should have just used the Town Portal first, but yeah, you know, it's only 150 gold. Let's see, it's another... No more Meatwagon currently, it's only one of them. Fire, on the other hand, adding plenty of flying machines right now, adding the first Knight, and adding a couple of Griffins actually, so no Dragonhawks. So it looks like he's not going to go into you know, a longer kind of tank siege like Hooligan did against Elqua. Hooligan, just to quickly refresh your guys' memory, he went for several rounds of tanks, went for the attack on the expansion of Elqua again and again, but he didn't get the expansion down, and at the same time he never managed to get a second expansion secured, so eventually he was forced to switch into mass flying machines and knights, but Elqua just sort of overcommitted to Meatwagons and Worms, and therefore he wasn't able to win the straight up fight later on anymore. For the moment, DowaQ though, only with one Meatwagon, which is still fine, but at the same time still vulnerable to just a spontaneous round of tanks sent over there. Yeah, huge bunch of flying machines already for Fire. 2-1 upgraded, no upgrades on DowaQ's units yet. Coil goes on a Frostworm. Let's see, he's getting a Gargoyle here. Okay, does he have multiple crypts? No, he's producing Gargoyles from one crypt. I don't think that that's the brightest of ideas, but maybe he's just going to use them for some scouting. Maybe he's going to add a second crypt eventually. Frostworm, Destroyer, and Gargoyle charging forward here. And it looks like he's got web already, probably with that Fiend. Yeah, just marching in there. That's actually why I checked the crypt. I didn't really expect to see gargoyles. But fair enough, right? So some scouting is done everywhere. More gargoyles are being added here for DowaQ. What can he really do here? This expansion doesn't really seem like he can break it, especially with all of the flying machines defending it. Then again, there's only one really big camp left to creep on the map, and it looks like DowaQ is going to be the player to secure that for himself. Fire, by the way, okay, expansion here is not going to get too far. Fire, by the way, kept the vampiric aura, so the knights are going to benefit from that. And with a bunch of griffins and knights, yeah, he's already posing quite a threat just in a straight up fight to DowaQ. Both of the players sitting at 80 supply. Fire with 1200 gold saved up already though. He's got the superior upgrades since there are no upgrades on the undead army. And DowaQ with 800 gold as well. And it looks like both of them, at least Fire definitely. DowaQ might be willing to commit to some hit and run. Fire might just be willing to commit to a straight up fight. Bolt goes onto the Dark Ranger, taking quite a couple of hits already. Frost Armor and Coil is being used on that one. The Frostworm taking a bit of a beating, but actually the majority of flying machines have already fallen and it didn't really do all too much. And now the Griffins might be running into trouble eventually. Then again, the majority of the not magic immune army of DowaQ has taken a bit of a beating already. Now the Knights have to fall back because the Worm is such a machine against them and there's nothing really threatening that one anymore on the Fire side. Then again, he's the one attacking the DK right now. Coil kills the Paladin. Invo Potion used on the Death Knight, and the Mountain King should not be able to chase after that one. It was a big Invo Potion, so there's no way in hell that that DowaQ is going to let that one go down. I imagine both the AM and the MK are in trouble. Coil is yeah, not hitting the AM here as he's using the Town Portal in time, but that fight was horrible for Fire. DowaQ after this one immediately breaking into high upkeep, so it looks like he seems to feel quite confident, but Fire got a couple of towers up. Do the air units see it so far? No. So he did not scout this expansion yet. I think if he scouted this one, then could already be game, because Fire doesn't really have a lot to... Oh, the Frostworm is getting the Coil. Fire doesn't really have a lot to deal with this undead army at the moment. 5, 4.5, and the Dark Ranger still needs to be revived. And the Acolytes, they continue marching. It looks like this expansion might be taken next. DowaQ just getting a few pickoffs here. Should maybe just go for the altar to pick off the... or to prevent the Paladin from respawning. Yeah, 84 supply. A bit surprising that he went into high upkeep already. Then again, he just produced 2 more statues, which is extremely helpful given that his entire army was sort of low after that fight. I mean, of course, the Unholy Aura by itself prevents quite a bit of help there already, but doesn't really replace the statues by any means. So more and more stuff is coming in. Second expansion is coming. Well, maybe not for DowaQ, but he's nearby and he should be able to defend that one. Is there a Town Portal for Fire? Yes, and he's probably going to be forced to use it if the Frostworm gets in range of one of the Knights here. Is there anything? No, there's nothing to quickly finish that one before the Staff of Sanctuary can be used, and therefore Fire isn't losing anything here, but he's not able to prevent the expansion from coming up. And now it looks like DowaQ has realized that there's a second expansion here, and he's going for it. It looks like Fire, as he's got no means of defending it, he's just going to quickly go ahead and attack this expansion. And DowaQ looks like it might still finish since Fire is chasing after the Acolytes. DowaQ actually is not continuing to attack the expansion here. There are no towers there, so eventually he might be able to get there. But Fire is doing a decent job, at least distracting the undead for now. yeah, DowaQ since a very long time right now has been in high upkeep already, so he's gonna want to make use of that. Whereas Fire is just yeah, calmly collecting more and more flying machines. Expansion is up right now, somewhat running, and it is DowaQ who's now going to get rid at least of the peasant line at that expansion. Fire looks like he's going to be willing to commit again to one of the fights. Destroyers draining mana from the statues, so he's going to be able to use his yeah, mana attack, the Orb of Annihilation, to deal tons of splash damage to those flying machines. Now the destroyers are coming in, the flying machines are leaving. And what is he leaving here? Only statues. Okay, so he's committing with this entire army to this Divine Shield used on the Paladin. Where's the Lich is very far in the back and therefore isn't able to initiate a fight with the Nova here. Our town is under siege. Sorry, had a pop up there for a second, but now we can continue. The second expansion is still running with only 2 acolytes, so they took a bit of a beating there. But DowaQ for the moment still seems in control. He's going further and further up army-wise. 88 supply already. New ziggurats are at least attempted to be built. One of them at least. Yeah, DowaQ is at 88 out of 90, so he doesn't really need a huge load of ziggurats here necessarily, at least as long as he stays around in the middle of the map to continue defending his expansion. Maybe he should just send like a ghoul down there, or 2 ghouls. Yeah, there are 2 ghouls. Probably heading towards that expansion. Flying machines of fire gathering. He's got so many of them. Then again, this is a huge load of air units on DowaQ's side as well. Frostworm, 5 destroyers, and 1 of the gargoyles. Doesn't want to chase above the forest here against those flying machines. By the way, looking at the heroes, not really any items on DowaQ, only his DK is somewhat well equipped. Whereas Fire with 2 staffs of preservation, still got the aura, 1 energy pendant. And now we do see the fight starting. The majority of the flying machines are still chilling. Now they are contributing to the fight. The Mountain King is being silenced and taking some beating here. The coil is actually enough to finish him. Paladin was out of position. At the same time, the Frostworm is falling though, which is terrible for the undead player. But the AM is the next one who's being targeted and who is forced to town portal. But look at the air army of DowaQ. The non-existing air army. I think he just lost 5 destroyers, a gargoyle and a frostworm. He got the Mountain King killed in return, which is nice, which prevents nuke and stuff, and which is going to make his life on the ground a lot easier, but he lost so much in return. 63 supply for Fire, 46 for DowaQ. Lich casting frost armor on himself. DK soon to be level 6, Lich level 5 already. Dark Ranger needs to stay careful here as the knights, or some of the knights at least, are focusing her. In the meantime, while Fire is up supply-wise, somewhat decent percentage of that is rather useless as it's flying machines and it doesn't really do too much, even though, you know, he can attack air with the siege damage, but as I said, doesn't do too much. DowaQ, on the other hand, has to work with only his heroes for the most part. And that's rather difficult against knights. One of them is being focused right now. Paladin, level 4, soon to be level 5, is helping out a great deal. Silence on both of the human heroes right now. There should still be Staff of Sanctuary available. So Coil is being used in time though, so no Staff of Sanctuary on that knight. Paladin is the next target here. Divine Shield used. The next statue is in trouble. The flying machines continue attacking the buildings here. Lich has to be careful. Uses Frost Armor, is being pulled back to the right hand side. The next knight is being focused here. No, it's Frost Armor, not Nova cast by the Lich. That knight needs to be using his coil defensively here, so he cannot nuke the knight, which has been staffed right now. So finally, Staff of Sanctuary has been used properly by the human player. AM is the next target. The Lich needs to be careful as well, though. Always afraid of the Holy Light of the Paladin, which could be casted right now, but he's using it to kill a knight. Coil saves the Lich. Holy Light wouldn't have killed the Lich anyway, so I guess a good decision by Fire. Next knight is in trouble. Silence on both the Paladin and the AM. In the meantime, the Mountain King is back here in the back of the army. Can he pass the staff? Oh, he doesn't even need to, because the AM still had one in his inventory as well. Oh no, he actually passed the staff to the AM. Never mind then. And the flying machines have actually taken down the expansion. Another statue is falling as well. What a long fight here. Quite insane. The next Fiend is in trouble. Another Knight gets staff with very, very few hit points. Staff of Sanctuary on the Mountain King 2 even. And the AM gets nuked down. Coil Nova, yeah, level 6-5. Death Knight and Lich, quite a powerful combination. And the Paladin was out of the fight. And even the Mountain King maybe gonna get in trouble. There is still a heal potion available in the shop. He's buying it, he's using it. And he's retreating for the moment. 49 supply remaining for Fire. 61 at the end of this for DowaQ. But his expansion, one of his expansions has fallen. This one is still running. And this one is going to get a bit of a beating again as well. Expansion is being rebuilt. Dark Ranger really making use of the Dark Arrow here. And it looks like the Town Hall here is going to get taken down. And this one only has 1,200 gold left. This is quite terrible news for Fire. There's still 7,000 in here, with a second one coming, if it comes up. So DowaQ fought back nicely there. Fire committing quite, yeah, maybe a little bit over-ambitiously, since his Mountain King wasn't there. I mean, he had the staff, but those undead triple heroes were just able to trade so nicely, and in the end, even taking down the AM was definitely a huge deal. Expansion still standing here, though. Looks like the skeletons once again ran out of duration. The next Knights are being focused. Does he have the nuke available? Holy Light hits the Knight in time here. Mountain King is turning around. Doesn't have the staff. The Paladin does have the staff and uses it. Bunch of flying machines available on the side of Fire again. So DowaQ just wants to make sure there's no expansion here. This one not being resaturated yet. Actually, there are no peasants left in the main base of Fire, so he's only got those 6 peasants mining here. So he's gonna have to either wait for this mine to run out or reproduce. Another little harassment by the flying machines, but I don't think they will be able to do anything here. Does he get... no, doesn't get any good attacks off on those. One of them is going down. AM is back now. It's 5-4 and almost 5 Paladin against 6.5. Level 3 Aura, by the way. Almost 6 and almost 5 Dark Ranger. Mountain King is coming in both Holy Light on the Death Knight, but as you can see, he's quite tanky at this point with over 1,000 hit points. Looks like he's just committing to kill the expansion. A huge bunch of flying machines is coming in from the side, and DowaQ immediately has to reposition. Another bunch of skeletons, another bunch of statues is morphing to destroyers. A bunch of flying machines is immediately falling. The first of the Griffins is being taken down. Level 5 on the Dark Ranger, level 5 on the Paladin as well. The nuke is really going to be painful on both sides here. Death Knight needs to be careful. Bolt Holy Light kills him after a bash, and that is, yeah, not too great to say the least for the undead. Having to work without his Death Knight right now. The Worm is still alive for the moment. The majority of the anti-air of Fire has been taken down. Maybe the nuke can just quickly get rid of this destroyer, but it looks like maybe he's gonna want to spend the nuke on one of the heroes, but he's not gonna be given the chance to do so, and the Worm actually gets away. But at the same time, this expansion is in trouble. This expansion is done, but this expansion is now running. And all of a sudden we have 1 mine against 1 mine again. I mean, at least these Acolytes will be done in just a second, once this Knight, you know, has taken them all down. And Holy Light, maybe? No, just the AM hit is even enough to take down the first one. A huge loss on DowaQ's side. And is he gonna reproduce that one? I think he should do that pretty quickly, but the nuke is going on the Lich right now as well. The Mountain King is doing a good job blocking, and the Lich isn't getting in range of the shop because Holy Light is taking him down. Level 5 for the Mountain King now as well, and I feel like this Dark Ranger is gonna have a difficult time next. Holy Light is securing this Mountain King's life. Potion bought on the Dark Ranger used super early on here because, as you can see, the nuke is just enough to kill her anyways, and GG by DowaQ. Fire is taking the first map here. Wow, that was a difficult one to cast. So Fire, after he didn't manage to get or to stay ahead economically after a very, very long fight in the middle with only heroes and a few units, like a few air units for DowaQ, a few knights for fire. It was actually DowaQ who seemed to be ahead, and I think it basically looked decent for DowaQ. Even in that last fight when his Death Knight died, he, with his worm, with his few destroyers and heroes, he got rid of the majority of flying machines once again, like he did a couple times previously. And then the Death Knight just went down to a bash, which was followed up by Bolt and Holy Light combination. And then afterwards, everything basically spiraled out of control. He didn't have the speed of the Unholy Aura anymore. He couldn't hold his second expansion, and Fire just kept on pushing, immediately making use of the fact that there was no healing available for those two weak, second and third heroes of the Undead, killing them both and securing the victory for himself. So a very nice game here to start the series. Fire with the 1-0, and we are going to go to Echo Isles next.